My struggles with anxiety started the first time I heard the sound of my father hitting my mother. I was 6 years old and I was playing in the living room. We were living in a townhouse. I could hear my father shouting and screaming and cursing. So I snuck up the steps. It sounded like a gunshot went off. My name is Charles Phillips. I'm the author of Conquering Mountains. My book shares my story of dealing with mental health issues, of anxiety, depression, suicide ideations that stem from childhood trauma, dealing with poverty, abuse, and financial hardships. My dad, he didn't really want to work, and there were stretches of time where there would be years that he didn't, have a job. We would get evicted, we would have to move, lights would get shut off, I would have to shower at the school because the water was turned off. The first time my father hit me was after a Little League baseball game. I was about 10 years old. My father was shouting and screaming from the dugout because he had made his way to being an assistant coach. The same way he was shouting and screaming and cussing at me was the same way he was shouting and screaming before he hit my mother. So I kind of felt like I knew where this situation could go. So we ended up losing the game and got in the car and we're on the ride home, and my father is getting even more angry. He's getting more intense as he's shouting and screaming and cussing. I knew I couldn't open the passenger door because it was jammed shut. And the only thing I could think about was letting down the window and jumping out the window. So in the midst of his shouting and screaming, I said, "Well, Dad, I just couldn't get a hit." Thinking that would get him to realize that, I am just in my second year of playing baseball and I'm only 10, but instead he puts his left hand on the steering wheel and he cocks back. I think that the emotional impact hit me harder than the physical impact. The one who I look to for protection, I now need protection from. I became more fearful and anxious of making him angry. And that kind of increased my struggles with anxiety. I had to go to school the next day. And I'm trying to function in school, but I'm still, emotionally impacted by the situation that happened the night before. So I really couldn't focus in school the next day, and I didn't tell anyone because I was afraid of something worse happening when he found out that I told. So I kept it to myself, and it felt like I was suffering alone. A lot of our students may be struggling with some of the same things that I've gone through. So as students are in the classroom and they're behaving in a way we don't expect for them to behave or a way we wouldn't prefer them to behave, try to dig deeper as what is the reason why they're doing what it is they're doing or why they're saying what it is they're saying. Sometimes students are looking for someone to make that connection and ask them that simple question, are you okay? Whatever mountain you're trying to conquer, whatever struggle you're experiencing, you're never in it alone. There's always three types of people in the world that I think about. There's always the person that's been through it, the person that's going through it, and the person that's about to go through it. I share my story as one that has experienced abuse, financial hardships, poverty, anxiety and depression, suicide ideations. Know that you're not in this suffering by yourself, because it can certainly feel like it. And it's not something that you can't overcome, but you can conquer the mountains that you're experiencing.